everyone, and welcome to my craft room. Happy World Card Making Day to everyone who is watching now or watching the replay later. A great day for just making some cards and sharing some cards. So let's get on with it. I'll just let my computer catch up with me. Bear with me for a minute. Yes, unfortunately World Card Making Day has also been interrupted slightly by World Getting the Shopping and the Washing Done Day. Unfortunately these things don't go away just because you've got a special card making occasion to deal with. I've already got a couple of people on. Hi guys, whoever you are. I can't quite see who it is at the moment. Hasn't quite come through, but anyway, thanks for joining me. Oh, 3 people now. Hey, hi everyone. Anyway, today what I thought we would do, since we're celebrating card making, World Card Making Day, is I would make a celebratory card. Now this one's actually more aimed towards your New Year's, those sorts of things, but I thought, hey, if we're celebrating World Card Making Day, let's have some bubbly and a bit of bling to go with it, because you know, nothing better than bubbles and bling when you're making your cards. I can't guarantee that by the time you've had some bubbles that everything's going to be straight, but hey, that's the joy of handmade. Anyway, so what I have here is a card I made earlier today just to get the feel for the set. The set's really nice. I'd suggest that it's something, if you got it now, you could use it all year round. It's got various glasses. There's a wine flute, a wine glass, a champagne flute, a wine glass and a cocktail glass. And all the things that you need to make a extravagant drink. You've got straws and twigs and cocktail olives, and a bit of lemon or orange there, some mint, and these, and a strawberry, and these little splodges here are actually meant to go inside the glass to give the illusion of something actually being in there to imbibe. So there's the one you stamp in the middle of the cocktail glass, there's the wine, and there's the champagne, obviously tall and skinny there. But you can also colour them in with blends or some sort of marker, or just leave them empty. But who would want an empty glass? Hi guys who have joined, Kay and Carol, hi, thanks for joining me. And also we've got some fairly good sentiments as well. Hope your big day is just one big happy hour after another. So that's sort of any day really, like weddings or things like that. Sip Sip Hooray, which is obviously the name of the set, and I'll drink to that. So we've got the feel of New Year's, we've got the feel of congratulations, we've got the feel of, you know, any sort of occasion that, you know, people might be trying to celebrate. And what I'd do, and I'd suggest this sort of a bit of complimentary selling, is if you're going to get Sip Sip Hooray, also get the Cheers to that stamp set. Now the only reason I say that is because you actually are adding a whole lot of really great and flexible sentiments to it. You've got cheers, you've got congratulations, you've got raise your glass, and then you've got things that you can interchange to, you know, to the new year. So you can say raise your glass to the new year, or congratulations to the bride and groom. So that opens up a whole range of wedding cards as well. Or just congratulations to you and yours. So there you go, you've got, you know, a whole range of things there. And then you've got eat, drink and have a Merry Christmas. So there's your Christmas one that can go there as well. So to be honest, I think these two stamp sets complement each other really well. And I think if you got them both, you probably would have a whole year's worth of celebrations that you could actually get out of those two stamp sets. And obviously they come with their dies. The cheer dies is basically the cheers that you can see there on the front of my card. So that's a really handy word to have for the front of cards like this. And it's got a couple of swirls, sort of decorative swirls with it as well for underneath. So that's a good one. There's not much to that one. And this is the one that actually, this is the Sip and Celebrate one, which goes with the Sip Sip Hooray, which is the one we're going to be using today. So you'll see what I can do with that shortly. But it basically cuts out all of these glasses and little drink additives there as well. Okay, so let's get started. As I say, this is one I made earlier today when I was playing with the ideas. So what I've basically done is, this is cherry cobbler cardstock. I've made my normal 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 card base. I've used a tiny little piece of the plaid, the perfectly plaid cardstock here. Being particularly frugal with this one, I've only used about 1/3 of a sheet on this card. A very thin strip of gold foil, just to sort of terminate that card, that DSP. And then I've got a gold stitched circle and a white stitched circle behind there. And these flutes, I've actually gold embossed them. So I basically used the Versamark ink and gold embossed and heat embossed them with the gold for the champagne. So that one was really nice. So what I thought I'd do for the one I'm going to show you, it's fundamentally the same, except I've decided to use one of the different, the cocktail glass instead, and change the colours around a bit. But as you'll see, it's fundamentally the same design. Okay, so getting on to some actual card making. Here I have everything pre-cut, so I think it was Linda last week who thanked me for having everything pre-cut, so I've done it again so she doesn't have to sit through too much die cutting. Here again, as I mentioned previously, I've got my standard base card. This one is in Balmy Blue, so we're 5 3/4 inches by 8 1/4 inch, and then scored down the middle to form your base card. We'll just pop that to the side. Here again, I've got some designer series paper. This time it's from the Feels Like Frost designer series paper, and again I've cut frugally. I've cut quite a small piece, which is about 1/3 of a sheet, so it's 2 inches wide and 5 3/4 inches long. And that actually fits pretty much perfectly on the left hand side of our base card, like that. Again, I've got a very thin slither of, this is a 1/2 inch wide piece of silver foil. And obviously with the previous card it was gold foil, so I'll be using that to trim the designer series paper. And again, I have also cut a white stitched circle and this time a silver stitched circle for the card. Now this time, and again I've got the cheers from the Cheers dies, and this time they're in silver as well, so everything's silver and blue in this one. So I've dropped my cocktail glass, bear with me. Oh, here we go. So this time I have used the cocktail glasses, as I said, and I have actually got heat embossed the image in silver. So here we go. Hopefully you can see that sort of glimmers a little bit in the, yes, I think you can see that glimmers in the sun a little bit, coming through my craft room window. So that's heat embossed. That's just basically the cocktail glass from the set, heat embossed in the silver embossing powder. I've also then stamped and cut out the little mint leaves from here, and I've also stamped the inside with Balmy Blue to give sort of a, if anyone can tell me what a blue cocktail is, a blue, I don't know, anyway, a blue cocktail, because I have seen them. I'm not a big drinker, but I've seen people drinking blue cocktails. And so we've got it with a mint there, and that mint is in Call Me Clover, and basically die cut out. So I've got my 2 cocktail glasses here, and obviously then I've got my panel of white just for inside my card, which I'll pop aside. Okay, so let's get assembling. There's not going to be a lot to this one because I've done a lot of preparation already. Anyway, so cool. So here we have our card base, and we have our piece of designer series paper. Having to guard this designer series paper with my life at the moment because it's not actually available, so we're waiting for it to come back on sale, and I do want to buy some more, so I'm sort of trying to use this as sparingly as I possibly can. So we've got the other sides of this designer series paper is lovely. It's got sort of real photographs of nature, of ice and snow, and basically it's in blues, and I think there's some pinks in there as well, but it's really lovely paper. So it's almost a shame to turn it over. But I also think this silver side here gives a little bit more of a contemporary feel. So I've just basically glued that 2-inch wide piece of designer series paper to my card base on the left hand side there. And just to finish it off a little bit, I've got this, as I mentioned, a 1/2 inch wide piece of silver foil, and I've already popped some double-sided tape, some tear and tape on the back. So if I just remove the backing, then that couldn't stick there. So half an inch wide is really quite handy because that's exactly the width of our tear and tape. So you can basically just go for it with that. So what I do here is line that up with my grid paper, and then line up my edge piece with the grid paper as well, so I know that it's going to go across there and line up with exactly the right part on there, so it's safe, so it's square, so we can be happy with that, that's square. Okay, so that's pretty much that side done. Okay, so I'll bring in now my circles. Now you'll notice with this other one I actually put the circles side by side. In this case the cocktail glasses are a fair bit wider than the champagne flute, so they'll actually go, I think it's actually nicer with this one if they go up and down the page a little bit more, the side of the card. Maybe like that sort of thing, or like that, because I've got the mint, so they go sort of further up the card. So to complement that, I will actually put my circles more vertical as well, so a bit like that. I wouldn't normally do this, but when I put them on the card without the circles, they sort of needed something, so I thought, well, to back them with some circles was sort of added to it, sort of gave it a bit of a lift. So I'll pop these two on with some glue. No dimensionals yet, but there will be. You can be rest assured of that. So the first one there. Hi Karen, thanks for joining me. And the second one sort of up and to the side a little bit there. Okay, now I'll bring in my cocktail glasses, and as I said, they are silver embossed glasses with the balmy blue liquid inside and a Call Me Clover sort of mint leaf coming off the edge. And I thought what I could do is basically arrange them there, so they look like they're sort of, I don't know, teetering over, which is probably a good sign for a party if there's cocktail glasses, you know, sort of all over the place. Sort of parties you want to be invited to, but not have to clean up after. Okay, so I'll do that sort of roughly like that. Okay, so the bottom one I will actually glue. So this one here is going to be the bottom one. So just a touch of glue on top and bottom and on our little bit of mint. And I'll pop that one out there. Forgive me, I've had a bit of a glue explosion, so I'll just get a little tissue and dab that glue. I don't want it getting too everywhere. And our second one, our second cocktail glass, I'm actually going to pop up on mini dimensionals. I've used a fair few of those today, as you can see. So just a couple, various places up and down the cocktail flute. I think that middle part is a little bit too skinny, so I might just put one right at the bottom there, and then one on the actual mint leaves. Just take the backings off. I vacuumed my craft room the other day and vacuumed up so many of these little pieces of paper. It was like I was having a snowstorm in my craft room, so I don't know what everyone else is like when they get started with the dimensionals. The little bits of paper go everywhere. I'm going to pop this one up here, not too far over the edge of the card, of course, but sort of just up a little bit further up. There we go. Yeah, that's okay. I quite like that. Okay, so that's the cocktail glasses. Now I'll just do the cheers. Now, if you do get this die set, be careful with this this sentiment. It is really, really, I mean, it's good that it is, but it's really, really delicate. And if you're a bit rough, like I tend to be, sometimes you'll end up with a bit of a disaster. So it is really, it just flexes really, really easily. I'm going to pop that one up here. So I'm going to get some glue. Now, you're not going to be able to use a lot of glue because it's just so fine, but just a few dots, tops and bottoms of each of your curves, just to give it enough to stick to your card. Obviously the glue will spread out a little bit, but just a few dots. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry, I've had my hand in the way while I was doing that. Just a few dots, top and bottom of each of the little letters, just to give some gluing. And then I'm going to pop this at an angle along the top of our card. Obviously a little bit too much glue. That's alright. Thankfully our glue dries clear. I'll bring that back in a bit and just dab it. Just forcing it down a little bit and getting rid of a little bit of the glue. Okay, there, so I'll bring in a piece of card and just firm that down a little bit. Cool. So what do we think of that? It's fairly nice, isn't it? So cheers. Cheers to World Card Making Day. There we are. Okay, so inside, basically, can't be much easier than this. As I said, the cheers, we could use one of the sentiments from here. Obviously there's some nice ones there, but in the other card I'll do this as well. I'll go raise your glass to the new year. And as we all know, or anyone who's a demonstrator is watching, that we have just started our Stamping Up New Year. So congratulations to all the demos who are watching, and happy new Stamping Up year. Yes, so we all start from zero again, which is the fun part, isn't it? Okay, so we've got raise your glass. I'm just going to do this in black. Oh, bit of wobbling, apologies for that. Oh, bit of smudge, turn it over. Good thing paper has two sides. That's the saving grace of it. Raise your glass. And then the next one is to the new year. If I was able to put Stamping Up New Year in there, I would. There we go. So as I say, they are both from the Cheers to That set, and really, really very handy set to have. Also, I think in that Cheers there, that big one's going to be really handy as well later on. Okay, well, I left that plain in the other one. I wonder whether I should do something to it with this one. Maybe put, what could I put? We've got there's some bubbles here. I wonder if I could put some bubbles. No, actually no, I might just leave it plain. I think I'll leave it plain. And we'll just glue that inside. Anyone who follows my page would realise that I actually have an online store where I sell a lot of the cards that I make. It helps support the habit. And I woke up this morning, good morning, hey Kathy, woke up this morning to a $50 order from the United States, which was really, really a bit of a shock, to be honest. I've never sold that many cards to the United States before. Well, yeah. So I have been frantically making cards because 2 of the cards that the customer ordered I didn't actually have in stock, so I had to make them anyway. So my card making day has truly been all over the world because I'm going to be sending 5 of my cards to a customer in America. So yeah, a bit excited about that. As I say, my biggest order to America. Okay, so there's the 2 cards that I've made with the Sip Sip Hooray and the Cheers dies. I think they're quite different, but I think they're quite nice. I like that. I'm glad I decided on those little circles. Hey Michelle, thanks for joining me. Yeah, so, oh, actually, don't know if you can see in that one, it's got little gold sort of bubbles coming out of our champagne. So you can actually do that in, you could I could have gold embossed it, but I sort of decided at the last minute to do it. So I actually used the pigment ink that we have in the most recent holiday catalogue. To do that straight onto the cardstock, but you could have also use, I suppose, for this silver one, although you don't get very many bubbly cocktails, there's a silver version as well, so silver shimmery ink there, so they're very handy if you don't want to spend time heat embossing. Okay, so there's my 2 that I've made today. There's a 3rd one that I was going to make, but I won't make it right now because it's going to be roughly along the same lines. Is basically I'm going to use this designer series paper here, so it's a darker version from the plaid, the Perfectly Plaid. Obviously it's going to be gold, but what I've done here is I've done the cocktail glasses I've embossed them in gold. Hopefully you can see that. Just position it in front of the camera a little bit. So they've been embossed in gold. I've done I've stamped their contents in the cherry cobbler. So we've got some red cocktails happening there, and they've got some little cocktail olives on sticks. So I've inked them up in black and coloured them with obviously an old olive ink, because it's obviously an olive colour. So yeah, so I will be doing the same one. So if you can if you can imagine that paper, of course, and the cocktails there instead of the champagne, that's what that one's going to look like when I finally do it. I might do this one for my blog so you can see step-by-step instructions in my blog. Yeah, so that's the one I've done for World Card Making Day. Not a very long video today, but as I say, I've still got lots of washing and shopping to do before my week gets on, and obviously life doesn't stay still for anyone. Thank you for joining me, everyone who has, and thank you for anyone who comes along later watching replay. If you haven't got a demonstrator and you would like to get hold of a catalogue, an annual catalogue or a holiday catalogue, or you'd like to place an order for anything you've seen in this video or any Stampin' Up product, drop me a message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But anyway, as I say, this set I think you would basically use all year round, so it's a really good investment in some long-term crafting. Anyway, thanks guys, and have a great weekend, have a great World Card Making Day, and I will see you all next week. Okay, bye.